Looking at a Masters for Kiriko, struggling with just general stuff, looking for general advice. Now, I cheated and I looked at the review before so I can be respectful of your time, and I got some stuff written down. And you're a medical student, you're smart, so I trust that you're going to be able to understand this. But if you have any questions, you can always just DM me and ask. So what we're going to start with is, let me get a blackboard. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, what we're going to start with is how Kiri is different from other supports. Many supports do more healing and more damage than you, like Anna, Bab, Mercy, Prig. They're better at like pocketing or peeling or doing damage. But what those supports lack is your mobility and vulnerability. Kiriko is the only support. I mean, she's not the only support, but Kiriko is very good at controlling space and controlling angles. She is basically the only support that can control an area while being risk-free, because you can get to that area by walking, and then you can always TP out. As long as there's somebody in range, you can always TP out, so you can hold space for free. Now, why space is important, we're going to explain why space is important. If you don't know what space is, it's just the area, the playable area that your team controls, that your team owns, and the area in which if an enemy player walks, they're in danger of dying or of taking a lot of damage. So for example, with how our team is set up right here, the area that we control is something like this, maybe, because I think it's a widow. Because of our widow angle, we control an area like this, right? She cannot, the widow doesn't really do damage behind this line, and there's a lot of LOS. So this area we control, we do a lot of damage in this area, and the enemies have to use cooldowns and do damage to us so as to win the space and eventually get to point and cap the point. And Overwatch is just a game about space. It's about the team that controls the most amount of space, and the team that uses the least amount of cooldowns to control the space usually wins. Now, why this is important to understand is because, as I said, you are pretty much the only support that can control an area, an angle, risk-free, because you can always get out. So you need to choose. It's never really good to stack with your team. You should always try to pick an angle that is good for you and hold it and do damage and distract and force the enemies to clear you out and then TP back to your team. Because if you stay with your team all the time, that means that the enemy, if you're just stacking on your Ana back here, that means that you're essentially giving up space for free. You're letting people get closer to you without using cooldowns, and that's bad because of prevention. To prevent is better than to mend. So like, if you want to talk about peeling and helping your team, you're not the best support to sit here in the back and throw the Suzu at your Ana and heal your Ana. You are good at contesting an angle, doing damage, forcing cooldowns, and then getting out. This is good because if the enemies have to use cooldowns and focus on you and spend time in cooldowns on you to get you out of here, they're gonna be weakened when they get closer to your team. You want them to be weakened because if they're weakened, they're gonna be easier to kill, right? They have less cooldowns than you have, so you're gonna have an easier time killing them. But if you let the Tracer set up on your Ana, if you let her flank this way, if you let the Winston set up and so on, it's going to be way harder to absorb the dive. And you have some prevention, so some absorption with your Suzu, but it's way worse than a lamp or brick packs or I don't know, whatever else, nano or whatever. So when you think about peeling, I say this because I watched the VOD, you think about sitting on somebody's face and pressing M1 and Suzu on them. But a better way to think about, and a more efficient way to think about peeling, is being a threat and forcing the enemy to force you out, to spend cooldowns and time to get you out. So you should pick a flank or an angle that is good for your range. Usually you play a short to medium range because of your HP nerf. So before your HP nerf, you used to play mostly short angles because that's where it's easiest for you to throw your kunais and hit consistent headshots. But since they nerfed your HP and you're much squishier now, and they nerfed your TP and your Suzu multiple times, it's much easier to kill a Kiriko on the flank now. So you might, like this is sort of dependent on you, on what you feel comfortable with, but you might want to play more medium range angles rather than shotgun angles, right? So you need to find your angle. You need to find a point where you can be a threat and you can throw damage and you can force cooldowns and attention that is split from your team. that is good for your range, but also if you can find that sort of angle and support somebody on that angle, that's even better. Because this Hanzo or whatever else, whatever other DPS would sit up here would love to just like camp the high ground and spam shots on the enemy team while they're walking to the choke. But he cannot do that if he doesn't receive support, right? So this is another thing that Kiriko is really good at and other supports are worse at, is +1ing. You're sitting with somebody on an angle and allowing them to do the damage. And if you can find an angle that is good for your range and it's a +1, that's the best case, that's the best scenario possible for you. If nobody's on an angle, if nobody's playing on an angle, they're all playing stacked together, then you need to find your own angle that plays well into your range, right? So if we're talking about like a Nana, if you're talking about the Mercy, if you're talking about the Bab, they don't really want to move to help somebody, right? They want to help from range, or if the enemy, if your ally moves out of LOS, then they're freaked, right? They can't really get help. But with you, you can always go and help somebody on a flank. You see a tracer, 1v1ing your tracer, or Sanana, you see a tracer 1v1ing your DPS here, you TP to them, you help them, this tracer either dies or is forced out, and you're pretty much the only, I mean, you could argue that Lucio can also do that, but it's very, very easy for you to +1 with somebody and help them win an angle. And if you win an angle, you keep space, and if you keep space, you have a better chance of winning the fight. So, with that said, I'm checking to see if there's anything else that I should say before like actually getting into the review. So you should pretty much always ask yourself the question: what angle, what area of the map can I control with my presence, with my M1s? Because now they nerfed a lot of stuff about you, right? But they also buffed the damage that you do with your kunais. Because right now, damage to the body deals a significant amount. It's significant enough to make people scared, right, to push you. Because if you land a couple body shots and then they're threatened to be headshot, they're scared, they can no longer push you, right? So you can more reliably hold close to medium range angles because of the HP, the damage buff that you got. So yeah, try to think of angles that you can control by just existing there, and try to peel through preventing, fighting the enemy off, not letting them take the flank, the space, so they cannot easily set up on the backline that you are actually trying to protect by like being a threat, right? When we talk about overall playstyle, and this is the last thing that I will say before getting to the gameplay, most important thing, find your angle, assist somebody on an angle. It's your job as a Kiriko to help whatever DPS is trying to make a proactive play, to go on a flank. You should always help them. Suzu can be used either selfishly, so for you holding an angle, or to save a teammate. There's really no hard rule on how you should use Suzu. You just determine that in the moment. But if you are taking your own angle, you should try to greet it. Because if a tracer comes and fights you on an angle and it forces your Suzu and TP, even if you don't kill the tracer or even if you force recall, that's technically a trade that's better for the tracer than it is for you, because she forced you out and she forced your Suzu. So in a 1v1 scenario, you should try to greet the Suzu, in my opinion. TP is, as I said in the beginning, is mostly used to get out. You hold your angle, you shoot, you get pressured out, you TP out, right? But can also be used to TP in on somebody that needs help. You need to be careful of this, because you might TP in an unsafe position. I don't usually recommend like TP bombing on teammates. You can do that if you know that the TP is safe, if you want to +1 with somebody, as I said earlier, or if you need to heal somebody quickly, because Kiriko's Ofuda have travel time. If you want to heal somebody as quickly as possible, you should TP to them and start healing, because the travel time of the Ofuda is gonna make the healing process slower if you heal from range. It's the same with Moira. And other than that, when it comes to your Kitsune, just use it whenever, really. It's a really, really powerful ultimate, but if you want, it's very flexible as well. You can use it to push, you can use it to prevent the push, so you match an enemy ult, like for example, I don't know, they use Tree or Fox or Primal. You can use Suzu in response to like threaten doing a lot of damage, right? Okay, so with that in mind, we're just gonna start looking at the gameplay. I would like you to either be here with your Hanzo, here, marking this flank so that nobody can get to your Hanzo and hurt him, or like here maybe. Since you don't know what the enemy team is running, probably the safest bet is just start up here, scout, wait until the 15-second mark when the scoreboard is revealed, and then make a decision based on what you see. I'm gonna increase the volume a bit. This is fine. I would stay with the Hanzo because you don't know that yet, but they're running dive. And they will dive the Hanzo because he's the most aggressive person on your team right now. This is what I was talking about earlier. If somebody's trying to make a proactive play, you are the person responsible with helping them. So you need to be here and heal the Hanzo and shoot the Winston right now. But because you don't, he instantly loses the angle. Even here, you gotta be up here. You gotta go up here and start shooting. Because if nobody is critical, if nobody needs your help, your value as Kiriko is helping and being a threat yourself. So you need to be up here and shoot, heal, shoot, heal. With your M1 and M2, that's the most efficient way of healing and doing damage. Whenever somebody doesn't need help, you need to be doing damage. That's okay. But even this means that the Hanzo is now isolated. Because you TP away. Your Widow has grapple, your Widow has an Ana pocket. I don't think you actually need to go help the Widow. I think that helping these two people is more important right now so that we keep control of this side of the map. Because if this guy gets isolated, this guy can run away, right? This guy cannot run away. So if this guy is isolated, you go help the Widow. This guy is isolated right now. If he dies, you're probably gonna lose. You also need to, like, sometimes you need to trust your other support that they're going to do their job, right? We do maybe a 3-2 split. We place 3 people here and 2 people here, and we have 2 angles, crossfire. And it's rough, but sometimes you need to accept the fact that you cannot save somebody, either because they're stupid and they make a stupid decision, or just because if they're gonna throw like this guy and this guy and this guy at your Widow, it's very likely that he's just gonna die, regardless of how many Suzus you land. So sometimes you need to accept the fact that somebody on your team will die because an ult is gonna be thrown on them, or 3 people are gonna 3v1 that person. And you can look to help your team trade it. So maybe the Doomfist and the Hanzo guy wants to trade backline and go and kill the Weaver, and you can help with that, right? Because you can support their aggression or do damage yourself. So for example, this, because the Hanzo is out, because you're not throwing kunais at the Pharah and making the Pharah shoot rockets at you, the Pharah shoots a rocket at Diana, and Diana is dead, and there's nothing that you can do about it. This is prevention. This can be prevented by, like, forcing the Pharah to pay attention to you and stuff. This is better, which I can taking the 1v on the Tracer. But at this point, it's too late. We lost 2 people. We lost too much space. Okay, so right now, we're still running double poke, but we swapped to Ashe, which doesn't really change much. For you specifically, you could either play in here on this Mega and mark this angle so nobody can get to your Ana, or you could play up here to prevent people from getting to your Ashe, or maybe you could even, this is kind of deep, kind of far away. When you take a flank, you always need to look back and think of who you're going to TP to, right? You cannot take a flank without having a disengage route, because that's feeding. You need to always know where you're gonna disengage, and that is true for every hero. That is true for Tracer, that is true for Sombra, that is true for Kiriko. So take an angle, look at where your team is playing, make sure you can TP to her Ashe, and then if you want to take this flank and maybe hold your Doom stays here, you stay here, you heal him, you do damage here, then you make sure that you can get out by holding this angle if you want to hold this deep angle. Another thing that I didn't mention is that we talked about prevention, right? When it comes to dive and specific, you can prevent by forcing the enemy to commit resources to you and then just running away. I mean, we kind of talked about this, but with dive, it's even more important, because if you poke the Winston and the Winston sees the Kiriko on this angle and decides to jump on the Kiriko and you jump away, you TP away, then you essentially absorb a Winston dive that could have been on your Ana or on any other squishier, more immobile target. So the Winston made a mistake, but you baited him to make a mistake, right? So you can position yourself greedily against the dive if you have an easy escape to make them use cooldowns on you, cooldowns that would have otherwise been used to dive your teammates. This is too passive. You need to take your angle. You need to control space. Okay, let's see. Where does the tracer come from? Tracer comes from top. You could have delayed this tracer by playing on the pipes. So if the tracer cannot easily get to your widow, that's much more effective, because you see that right now we don't have any space. We're not controlling anything. This is everything that we have, and it's super easy for two people to get close enough to your widow that nothing will save her. Now this widow should have gone backwards towards here. I think that she uses grapple to get to top, which is whatever. It's whatever. She's taking a stupid eagle duel, but case in point, you should be bodyguarding your widow by preventing the tracer from setting up. And then we die anyway. Okay, we swap to Pharah. Here you need to be careful, because if you TP and Suzu and you are left in a bad position, you might die. So this is a scenario in which maybe it's a hard call to make, but maybe you let your Ana die and then you go try to help your Doom trade backlines. Because even if you save Diana here, you might still die to like the 4 people that are in front of you. Luckily we hit a shot and Pharah dies. Now you need to take your angle. You need to go here, fight the tracer, help your Pharah, and or you could also go inside with a Winston, but I don't love this because he almost has primal, and there's also Valking Mercy here, so you're not going to kill him, but he almost has primal, and being in close spaces against Winston is just generally not a very good idea. So I would go up the stairs, try to 2v1 the tracer with your Pharah, and then make your way to the point. That's fine. This is risky, but okay. Okay. Now, climb up, gather information, and then you could help your Doom, because you're here, right? You don't have to spend anything. You could just help your Doom kill the backline. You're too worried. Like, if this person has sleep, which they do, they should be fine. If they miss the sleep, unlucky. Even if they don't miss the sleep, he has primal. So like the problem with peeling here is that this person, the Winston, has primal, is gonna live for like 10 seconds in the backline, right? And he's gonna take the resources of 2 people. It's gonna be you healing Diana and Diana trying to survive, right? You might not even save Diana. Diana might get primaled off the map. You could, right now, they're not moving card, but you could help your team just clear the enemy team, kill the enemy team. And even if the Winston commits the best ultimate in the game, primal, to kill your Ana, if you can help your team kill the enemy team, then don't move the card, then it's a loss for the Winston, and he wastes an ultimate, right? So that's just another way to look at it. It's a more, I mean, it's a hard choice to make, but it's a resource trade. You let your Ana die to the primal in Winston, but you kill the enemy team, so you win the fight. Keep everybody alive. Now you need to find your angle. Climb up here, maybe. Okay, whatever. This is better. And even here, I would peek to see if there's any damage that you can do, or maybe anything that you can mark or threaten to kill. Nice. That's okay. This is fine. Let me see why your Ashe dies here. doesn't react, it's whatever, it's not your fault. But what you do is good, you kill the Pharah. Now you shoot the Mercy is scared, she doesn't res. Now you save your Doom. Now the Tracer commits to you, right? She could be trying to kill your Pharah, but she commits to you because you're right here. But you're safe, you have a Mega, you have TP, you're fine. This is great. Because and this only happens because you're on the angle. And then you miss one shot and you force a recall. So you don't even hit a shot and you force a 13-second cooldown. This Sox is fine. And then the TP is fine. It's so good. And then you hit 2 shots on the Pharah is out. Now you need to retake your angle. You're wasting time. Please, please, please go back in here. Go fight the Tracer in here. TP back to your Doom. You could even play the right side if you want to, but it feels like it's a bit too far away and you can get spammed out by the Pharah. So I think you just play in here. You just play on the Mega. I don't love this. This is just chasing teammates. There's really not much to say here, just chasing teammates. Okay, again, downtime, you need to find the angle that you can control. You're not any better than Mercy. A Mercy would do a better job than you right now, because at least the Mercy could like damage boost this guy, the Ashe. You find your value by, again, being a threat and forcing them to force you out. Don't worry about Diana. Go take your, please take your angle. Ay ay ay. Look at the Doom, right? The Doom would love to just sit on this, like, I don't know, just trade what's it called, CD cycle here, but he can't because he doesn't have any healing. But what if you played here, right? You could heal the Doom, you could throw a couple shots at the choke, and if the Winston dives the Ana, whatever. You can TP back to Dana if you want to, but we need help here. You're playing way too passive. With the tools that you have, this, and this, you can be the greediest support in the cast because you have these 2 cooldowns, and you're just wasting Kiriko potential because you're not using them. Now, it doesn't mean that you have. I don't mean that you need to go and force your Suzu, but you gotta make the enemy team work for it, man. You can't just give them everything and play like a freaking Mercy. You could set up for a Fox here if you want to. If you have your Pharah on top right, if you have your Doom on low ground, you can let them walk a little bit and then you can Fox and try to run them over. That's good, that's perfect. The Winston jumps you TP away. And now you need to retake your angle. You have TP in 2 seconds, you need to retake your angle. Oh yeah. They don't need you. You need to be here to shoot the cast and then TP away to your Pharah if it's needed. Like, your Doom is carrying because their backline is inoffensive. They only got an Ana right now, but had they played something more dangerous for your Doom earlier, he shouldn't like gotten so many deaths just because you're all stacking in the backline. And there's no proactivity from you. That's okay. That's a good try to turn the fight. Yes, please. Do damage. Kill everybody. This is the best fight that you've had so far. Even here, you don't really have to go back because you have your TP. That's okay. Hey, let me see. It's fine. Honestly, once you see tree, it's okay. You need to find your cover though. That's all fine. Right now you can flank again. This is good. I mean, it's all fine. They just used two ults while we used one. Okay, perfect. That's okay. And if you want to, right now you can TP to your Sojourn, not needed. Okay, the last fight you played though. No complaints, really. So on attack, you probably want to help your team clear the high ground. Make sure that your Ana can cross safely. If your Ana wants to play left side, that's okay. You want to help your team clear the high ground, and then you can either assist your team further, pushing this way, or if you can flank with somebody here, that can also work. Especially like since you play against like Hitscan, Widow. If you ask any Widow player, the most annoying things are it used to be Sombra, but unfortunately she's got it right now. The most annoying supports are a good Lucio and a good Kiriko, because it's very, very hard for her to hit you, but it's very easy for you to hit her, right? And you have a lot of mobility. But if you just stay in your backline all the time, you're not gonna be a threat to her. So she's just gonna get free value, right? Okay, that's fine. I wouldn't honestly waste that until you see nade, to be honest with you. Like if you see if she commits sleep and nade on your Doom, then maybe there's an argument to using Suzu. But if you don't have Suzu, you can no longer. Okay, I didn't say this at the start, but what allows you to hold such angles or take your own flanks is your cooldowns. So if you don't have your cooldowns, you cannot aggressively fight for space. So because you use your Suzu here, you can no longer go try to kill Diana. If you wanted to. I think that's a waste. That's fine. Okay, now, next angle. You could TP to this guy. So remember how I said that healing takes time? Takes longer if you're far away? Yeah, that's good. Now, you shouldn't worry too much about that person because they're 2v1 up there. I would care more about the Doom because he's the most aggressive person. He's the person that you need to support in taking space. Also, I will say that your Ana is a bit dumb for staying on point. Your Sojourn, your Widow, and your Ana should be up here, and your Sojourn should be on point capping. I think your team is trying to throw here. And you could be set up on high ground or on an angle like this. Be back to your Ana if you have to, but at least put some pressure on the enemy team. That's fine, I guess. Aye. It's a throw from your team, I think. So she gets rest. Your Sojourn dies, that's unlucky. Now, the only chance of you winning, I mean, you could make the argument that you can maybe kill the Winston on point, but I would still rather you. Your Ana's forcing you to stay on point. I don't hate what you do. You're trying to help your Ana, but if your Ana was smarter and she was playing further away, 100% you go help your Doom kill the backline. That's good. That's good. Slap a Suzu on him. Forget about him. That's fine. Get healed and take your angle again. That's good. He even gives up because you have TP soon again. I will say that you're kind of strafing in the open, in the Widow sidelines. That's fine. So this TP is fine because nobody else is doing anything. Like there's a full HP Doom on point, and 2 people in spawn, and their Ana is like honestly the most aggressive person. So you go help Diana. This is all fine. Your Doom doesn't need help. That's okay. Now you need to look for an angle again. The TP is fine. This is very good. You have your moments of brilliance with going aggressive. That Suzu is fine. You beat the Winston dive again. So now again, you could Fox Point and I would go high ground. Go fish for this Widow. I guarantee you she's not gonna be paying attention. You 2-tap this guy. Nah. You waste Fox if you do this. Like look what position this Widow took because you went to help your Ana. You didn't. I don't think you did have Suzu. But right now you don't have Suzu. What? That's... What is this black magic? I don't know. It's the UI is bugged. I don't know if you had Suzu there or not. But if you are up here, you will contest 2 people, which is insane for a support. Like how many supports can 2v1 somebody? You can, because it's a Widow and a Mercy. But instead you choose to go help your Ana, and now the Widow can kill everybody. Like look at the space that we had, right? Your soldier dies again. And now your Widow can no longer play the game because the enemy's Widow is playing on the high ground, and you can be the one preventing that. You can be the one that lands the finishing shot on this Ana that the Doom is trying to kill solo, right? You need to... you're underestimating the offensive capabilities of this hero. And this is how the Winston is holding 2 supports hostage. And your Widow will die because she cannot get any help because you're like holding this Ana's hand. She just dies, right? You could have saved that guy. Good shots. But even here, those shots would be better if you were up here. And maybe this Mercy would be dead if you were up here. And your Ana dies anyway, like... I'm not saying you shouldn't give a shit about your other support. I'm just saying that sometimes it's just better to trade backline if you're committing a lot of resources to killing your Ana. That's fine. Okay, take your angle again. He's full HP. Please don't heal the wall, bro. Just go up here and kill the Mercy for God's sake. Okay, you finally cap. You can see if somebody needs your help. They're critical if they need your help. I wouldn't stick hard here. Let your Ana take hard. Whatever, your Ana's taking space. And your Ana cannot aggressively help your team while taking space. You can, so that's why the Ana should stay on point. Because you can always get out. It's a waste. Please go help your team. This is not helping your team. This is heal botting. Okay, this is better. Because you take the angle, you immediately get contested, but this is good. Because now the Genji is not diving your Ana. Like, if that Genji would dove your Ana with the Winston, maybe your Ana dies. That's good. You can kill him now. You don't even try. That's okay. TP to your Sojourn. That's fine as well. Okay, don't care the Ana. Don't care about the Ana anymore. She's full HP. The Tracer got out. You need to go help your Doomfist. Nice, you're so lucky. I swear. Okay, this is good. And then we can ult on point and we probably win here. Yeah. Okay, not much else to say. So to sum things up, you should really you should always ask yourself, when you have like downtime, when nothing is happening, maybe before the fight or after the dive has happened in specific, you should always ask yourself what angle can I hold with your cooldowns, with your kunais. You need to find the angle or the flank that you can contest and protect, or like the angle that you can contest and the flanker that you can fight and so on, or the pressure that you can put on the enemy backline. And if you're ever needed to go back, just go back, either because you get forced out or maybe because your team needs you. But you should never start in the middle of your team for no... you should never start in the middle of your team. You're wasting the mobility of the hero. Second would be to be more willing to trade backline, or just realize when your team doesn't need you anymore. Whenever so critical means you help either by healing or TPing to that person. No longer critical, back to point one. And this is the gameplay loop that you need to implement. Take your angle, do pressure, go back if you're needed. When you're no longer needed, take your angle again. I think that's just the biggest part of it. I think your TPs are like mostly fine. Your Suzus are fine. Your Foxes are fine. Your shots are fine. You just don't try to put yourself in more offensive scenarios. Like, you are not bad mechanically. You need to allow yourself to shine by putting yourself in positions where you can make use of Kiriko's damage. Because right now you're just shooting a Winston 20 miles away when you could be shooting squishy targets and helping your Doom finish off targets. When it comes to like trading backlines, that's always a tricky question. I would try it more. Like, if you see that your Ana is 20 miles away and there's only a Winston that is gonna jump Diana, and Diana has an Ashe next to her, I don't care, bro. Just go kill the backline, please. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. If you have any questions, then you can always DM me, and I hope this was useful.